Even though Sheffield United are and have invested heavily in January, a 3-0 loss at home to Hull shows that they might be a blueprint to get at the Blades. Now, without Gustavo Hamer, the creativity was lacking in this match, and quite frankly, they never looked dangerous and in control of the game. I want to talk about the hopes of Sheffield United in the second half of the season, whether they're going to make the top two, or whether it's going to be another side like Burnley, Leeds or Sunderland beating them to those positions. Hull had just 39% possession in this match, but they looked so dangerous throughout. At this point, Sheffield United have won just 3 in their 8 last matches, which is potentially a bit concerning, especially during a busy Christmas and January period. It shows that when a lot of fixtures come in quick and fast, they're maybe not performing up to the expectations, but they've had a lot of injuries and players being played out of position. If players are having poor runs of form, there's no way that they can come out of the squad. So Sheffield United might have an upturn in fortune. Just listing off a few of the key injuries in recent times. So Arblaster got a season-ending injury a few months ago. Sutar about a month ago got a season-ending injury, which meant that only Ahmedhodzic and Robinson were fit centre-backs. Kiefer Moore's been hit and miss with injuries and he's now gone for surgery. Now the Blades have signed Tom Cannon and he's going to be out for 3-4 weeks. Reece Norrington-Davis and Tom Davis have both come back from long-term injuries this season, so they've been shunted straight into it, especially Tom Davis, and he's out injured again now for a short period of time. And the likes of rak-sakyi, Sariki, Vini Souza and Campbell and Shackleton have all had little short-term niggling injuries, putting them out for a few weeks. Shackleton is an example of a player who's not played for a couple of months now, and he was a player signed in the summer for squad depth to play at right back or midfield or right winger, and when a player like that isn't available, it really puts a lot of pressure on those starting players. And the squad was quite thin to start the season because Prince Abdullah, the former owner, wasn't investing much money into the club, whether it's by choice or whether because he couldn't. It looks like it's because he couldn't, and he couldn't financially fund the club. But the squad was thin, as I say. A player like Sidney Peck this season has really stepped up. He was close to going on loan to Steve Evans' Rotherham in the summer, but Chris Wilder was like, well, we've got no other players in that position if Vini Souza and Arblaster get injured. So we're going to have to keep Sidney Peck, and he's played a substantial part of the season in centre mid, and he's been really consistent for about 3 months now, starting basically every match, and he's been really good. Alfie Gilchrist on his first loan in senior football from Chelsea has been playing basically every match at right back. I think he's probably missed 2 or 3. Tom Davis, as I say, is rushed back from a long-term injury and he's been shunted straight into the lineup. Andre Brooks is a player who's never had a full season of consistent football playing for Sheffield United, and he's in a new role on the right wing now, and he's played a lot of football as well. And Harrison Burrows, the last couple of matches he's been playing a centre midfield position. He's been the best left back in the Championship this season, so the fact that he can't even play in his best position and he's being played in centre mid outside of his position isn't ideal. And it feels like there's a reliance on Gustavo Hamer in the Sheffield United system, because for the most part of the season he's been playing left wing. There's a couple of matches where he's played in other positions in that 3 behind the striker. The creativity all runs through him. And when he's not in the side, like he hasn't been for a couple of matches this season due to suspension, the side suffers. In the 4 matches that he's not played this season, 2 of them have resulted in a loss. One of those was a 2-0 loss away at Middlesbrough, and the other was the latest match, losing 3-0 to Hull. And it really feels like a lot of the players in this system are system players. They're suited to a certain position and role where they're told what to do, whereas Gustavo Hamer is a player who, yeah, will be told to play a left wing, but he'll pop up in every place in the position and he'll try and play those threaded through passes, but there aren't many players in the system who do that, to be honest. And the system's a 4-4-2 shape when they're defending, which can turn into a bit of a 4-4-1-1. O'Hare is the player that changes that dynamic a little bit. Sometimes they'll drop into a 5-back if they're really under the cosh or if they want to limit the spaces inside. And in attack, it's a 4-2-3-1, which normally changes depending on the state of play. So Gustavo Hamer often on left wing can roam. Sometimes it's a 3-2-5 where he'll be on the last man, or if he's roaming a bit further back or other players are in different positions, he'll go into a 3-3-4. And the 3-2-5 is like the most universally used build-up system in football, so it's no surprise that Chris Wilder and Alan Hill have talked tactics in pre-season and worked out that that's the best approach going forward. And talking of Chris Wilder, this season he's had a much changed approach to the media, I feel. At times he was a bit brutal in other seasons, especially that promotion season, where if a player didn't step up, he'd not necessarily call them out to the media, but he wouldn't necessarily defend them. Whereas this season it feels like he's a lot softer on the players. There's a lot of an acknowledgement that it's a young squad, it's a smaller squad, and he wants to make sure that all the players feel confident, they're not getting slagged off in the media. He wants to make make sure that the fans and the media also know that the players are under a lot of pressure. They're playing a lot of minutes through niggling injuries and without much opposition in the side. But if he needs to be ruthless, he is. In the 2-1 win away at Swansea, they made a triple change at half-time where Sariki came on and really changed the game. The next 5 matches for Sheffield United are huge. I feel that they need to get 10 points from those to keep that 2 points per game going. The difficult part is that Leeds and Borough are both fixtures that they got. At home, fair enough, but two sides very, very good this season. Two sides who have beat them already away from home, so they're going to be tough. And alongside that, they've also got Derby and Luton away, both sides in the relegation zone. I feel like if they want to get promotion, they need to be winning those games. Then the other match is QPR away. Earlier on this season, QPR came back from 2-0 behind to draw 2-2 at Bramall Lane. That was when there was in a poor run of form. Marty Cifuentes has done something similar to what he did last season, which is, take a poor group of players playing poorly to playing really, really well. They're pushing for the playoffs. So that match away at QPR, as much as it ought to be a win, it's not going to be as easy as that. And then in terms of transfers, Sheffield United and the new ownership group are not being quiet. Ben Brereton Diaz has already signed on loan with a view to make it a permanent in the summer. Tom Cannon has signed on a permanent from Leicester, initially about 10 million, rising up to 13 million. That's big. At the time of recording, Hamza Shadori is about to sign from Leicester. That's another loan with a view to buy. John Joe Kenny signing from Hertha Berlin for around 800k. His contract's up in the summer, which is a good deal. And Chris Wilder said in his press conference this week after the match against Hull that 3 players are going to be signing. 2 of those I've already mentioned, in Kenny and Shuddery. The other one, I don't know. Jimmy Dunn apparently might be signing, a player from QPR whose contract is up at the end of the summer. Michael Keane apparently has been inquired about. And Wolfenden from Ipswich is also a player that Sheffield United are interested in. So bolstering that centre-back position is a must, especially with Harry Souttar on loan from Leicester, probably not playing another game for the Blazers this season. I don't think Sheffield United are gonna make the top 2 this season. I'm not sure. I feel like Burnley's defence is rock solid. I feel like Leeds' depth in squad quality is far too good for the division, so I feel like that's going to be their top 2. Sunderland are being a bit bullish in this transfer window as well. They've signed Enzo Lafay, who's been hyped up to be like the greatest player in Championship history already. I'm not sure about that. Got a good pass on him, good dribble. We'll have to see how that goes for him. And it's going to be tough. Top 4 definitely, top 2 maybe not. But let me know in the comments. Chris Wilder's Sheffield United, where are they finishing this season? Let me know down in the comments. Just before you click off the video, please subscribe to the channel whilst you're new, hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.